Not for riches, I ask not for fame, I ask for the nation in Jesus' name. I ask for congregation sing, I ask for America. I ask for America. I call her by name. I present her to the Father in Jesus' name. For America, I call her by name. I present her to the Father in Jesus' name.
And we will make America great again. Thank you, Arizona. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
far distant land of common sense, a place where we all once lived, you'll find the Conservative College with Professor Toto. It is here where the foundational principles of our great republic are still taught and true patriots are still educated in the hallowed halls of this school of hope. Just like the iconic puppy from The Wizard of Oz, who found great joy in pulling back the curtain on the lies of the wizard, so does Professor Toto. Grab your seats and welcome to the Conservative College. Class begins now.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome home to the only safe place on the worldwide interweb where you can find a place of refuge if you happen to be a red-blooded, freedom-loving, constitutional, adoring, Republican of the truest form, patriotic American. If that describes you, welcome tonight, and we thank you for joining us. I am your humble, neighborhood friendly professor, Professor Toto. Today is August the 18th, 2022. I'm coming to you from the beautiful seaside village of Waveland, Mississippi. And man, is there so much to talk about tonight. Before this class is over, when I get to my monologue, I plan to expose and reveal Liz Cheney in a way that maybe you've never quite seen her before. This is really a subject that is dear to my heart, Liz Cheney, and you might wonder why. Because a year ago, we understood that she would be running for president before anyone in the mainstream media ever reported it. Matter of fact, they didn't start reporting it till about a month or two ago, but we had begun reporting it a year and 13 months ago. And so I'm very invested in following Liz Cheney because I've had my eyes on her for a long time now, and I see which way she's headed. She's planning to take the football right down the middle of the field. And so tonight, I'm going to really deal with Liz Cheney. I'm also going to cover all of the news that's happening today. But before I do, let me just show you a quick article, and then I'll do some shout outs real quick. Right here, let me show you this quick article because this is a mainstream. This is the New York Times. Maggie Haberman. Well, no, sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's see if we can find it here somewhere in one of these articles. Anyway, I'll come back to it in just a few minutes, but I want to show you where they're now describing Liz Cheney's pathway to the presidency. And it is the exact pathway that we described to you back in July of last year. Now, why is that important? Because when I get into the monologue tonight, I hope that I have built trust with you over the last year, and you've seen that we've been right about Liz Cheney, that you will now allow me to expose her to you and show you who she really is. So it's going to be a great class tonight. 60 minutes of shout outs, 60 seconds, of shout outs. Joyce McLean and Elvina Wiley, Cleophas Caudell and Kimberly West Dickman, Kat Martin and Ruth Rosario, Doreen Anaquich and Sister Angela Zialo, Tammy Black, Diana Hernandez, Brother Keith Moran, Brother Adam Wingo, Lisa Carter, Carol Schneider, Ed Holman, Tracy Eden. And then over on Rumble, we've got Gene and Brother Peachy over there, and Raphael Boo Boo, Nanny G2 and Lee, and T. Lucko and Risings, and Jay Colbo and Shelly Penn, and Dekine 808 and Salty Sandy, hello to you, and Brother Aussie from Australia, Gino Young, our faithful friend. And then let's go take a peek at FHTV. There's Maddie Z and Penny Miller, Salty Sandy, Lori Graham, Elizabeth Ponte, Salvador Bonfiglio, Brenda Ray, Miss Ada, Louise Perez, Patricia Parsons, Mary Sale. Hello to all of you over at FHTV. Now, I don't know what's been happening for the last 2 or 3 days, but our subscriptions at FHTV has gone through the roof. We've had over 1,000 subscribers join us today, and I'm not quite sure, what's causing that major increase in subscribers, but thank you all, and welcome to FHTV.tv. Let me put that on the screen for those of you that may not know what I'm talking about. FHTV is our new home. Since we were banned from YouTube for life, you can now go to byeByeYouTube.com or FHTV.tv, which stands for First Harvest TV. You can go there and subscribe, and we thank all of our new subscribers for joining us there. But I do have a little secret for you guys. Now, you can't tell nobody, but guess who is back on you-know-what? YouTube. Hold on. Let me get y'all the link. And y'all go over there and, I've already got some people on YouTube watching. Liberty Bell, Suzanne Glass. Wow. So I'm going to give the rest of y'all the link that don't know about it. I'm going to put it here in the chat. And there we go. Y'all go over there and subscribe for those of you that like watching it there. And I'll put it in the Rumble chat. Amen. So there you go. But it's a big secret, so don't tell nobody I'm back, or amen. All right. So there we go. We're glad to have all of you with us tonight. Yahweh is so wonderful. It is official that the CDC, you know who the CDC is, don't you? They have officially acknowledged that they botched it. They made a mess out of COVID-19. All right, somebody said we've got bad sound. Let's try to get rid of that. See if that helps. Anyway, so the CDC acknowledges that they messed it up. They only have one job at the CDC. And that, hey, Ange Garassi, I love you too. And that is to be prepared for a pandemic. So anyway, they botched it. And so there's a bunch of people being fired and moved around over there. And we knew from the beginning that they were messing it up. We knew from the beginning that they didn't know what they were talking about. We knew from the beginning what was going to go down. And we told them, we told everybody from the beginning. So now, after the fact, of course, they're all acknowledging that they messed everything up. And now a bunch of people's getting fired, moved around, and all that good stuff. All right. What I want to do before we get to the monologue this evening, I'm going to go over today's news. And one of the first pieces of news I want to talk to you about is your favorite former Vice President, Mike Pence. I'm going to show you a video where Mike Pence makes an argument, and I plan to eviscerate his argument and show you why it is faulty. And I want you to listen closely to his little video clip. He's lucky I'm giving him any time at the conservative college. But I just wanted you to see this because you need to know how to answer a liberal whenever they try to bring this argument up to you. Everybody watch.
Hold the Attorney General accountable for the decision that he made without attacking rank and file law enforcement personnel at the FBI. The Republican Party is the party of law and order. Our party stands with the men and women who serve on the thin blue line at the federal and state and local level. And these attacks on the FBI must stop. Calls to defund the FBI are just as wrong as calls to defund the police.
Okay, so does he have a valid argument here? No, he doesn't. And I'm going to explain why. It sounds very convincing because you and I are all for the rule of law. We're all for law and order, absolutely 100%. So why are we mad at the FBI? Professor Toto, y'all are the one that says, obey the law and go by the law. You're absolutely right. And Mike Pence makes a compelling argument except for one fact. And I'm going to explain that to you right now. But before I do, I'd like to translate what Mike Pence was just saying, okay? Basically, what he's saying is lay off the FBI, hold on and let this play out, and maybe the FBI can come up with something that will finally derail that man that stands in my way from getting in the Oval Office. So Mike Pence is all for the FBI raiding Mar-a-Lago. Oh, trust me, because they're all sitting around fantasizing and just daydreaming that just by some miracle, the FBI will find something in their search that will derail Donald Trump. Let me say this now, and I'll say it over again as much as I need to. Nothing will ever disqualify Donald Trump from being the next president of the United States of America. Absolutely nothing. Now, some of you are worried about the news today about the man that worked for Donald Trump pleading guilty to tax evasion charges. And man, the media is loving that. But here's what they're not telling you. And I will tell you because I love you. I don't want you in fear. I want you to go to bed tonight and get a good night's sleep with no fear. Here's what they're not telling you about this. I forget what is it? Weiselberg, I think is his name, pled guilty today to those charges. It has zero to do with Donald Trump. It will never affect Donald Trump because the proceeding is against the Donald Trump Corporation. Now, if you know anything about corporations, the reason you form one is to protect yourself. What a brilliant man. Anyway, so the civil probe against the Trump organization will have absolutely nothing to do with Donald Trump. So trust me, when they've never said he would turn on Trump. He specifically said today he would never turn on Donald Trump or the Trump family, but he would testify concerning the Trump organization, which is totally separate from Donald Trump. He will never feel one thing from that investigation. Now, let's get back to Mike Pence's statement about we cannot be against the FBI if we're not going to be against the local police. But let me explain something to you tonight. The FBI raid at Mar-a-Lago had nothing to do with law and order. As a matter of fact, it was an attack on law and order. Let me explain why it was an attack on law and order. Back when C-19 was first created in Wuhan, and by the way, if you want more information about how that happened, please go to FHTV and watch two videos. One is entitled Obama's Bloody Footprints, and the other is entitled The Gig is Up. You must go watch those so that you can truly understand what's going on. I tell you what, hang tight, don't go anywhere. Let's just do it this way. Give me 1 second. I want to show those of you that's brand new that don't know how to find us and how to get to us. Let me show you where you find all of our archives. Go right there to fhtv.com. That's what it will look like right there. Okay? Now, this is the live right there where we're live right now. You can click on that and watch us live. But scroll down. Now, this is our most recent content. But scroll down to the videos with the most interest. And right here, you see the videos with the most interest, which right now is Mar-a-Lago. That's at 15,000 views. Anyway, go right here and click on Obama's bloody footprints. You see it right there? And the gig is up. So if you want to know about C-19 and how all that happened, that's how you find it. All right. Now, so when that all happened and the election was put in peril because of this pandemic, well, we all know what happened to law and order. We all know that the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin has now ruled that the drop boxes were all illegal. Therefore, the votes that came that way are what type of votes? You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, that was an attack on law and order. So when the election happened, we know what happened. It was an attack on law and order, because if law and order had been abided by on January the 6th and on November the 3rd, we know who would be sitting in the Oval Office. We understand that. So that attack on law and order continued through the Trump presidency. Now, remember what I'm telling you. In that attack on law and order, we come to the declassification of documents. The ultimate declassifier in the United States is Donald Trump at that time, the sitting president of the United States of America. Now, real quickly, go over right now, if you want more information on that, get over here to FHTV and go watch this video right here. Which one? Right here. We know what was in the documents. Click on that video. We know what was in the documents. And while I'm here, let me show you what the New York Times just said about these documents. You've got to watch this. You got to see. We were the very first ones that ever talked about what these documents were. And I want you to look all over the news today, including Don Bongino, including the War Room, and now the New York Times is all speculating that Trump, the documents he took related to the what? The Mueller probe. Where did you hear this first? And she talks and she tells in this article how that the documents he had was about the FBI's Russia investigation. Where did you hear this first, Toto's Army? I told you so. Oh, I told you so. You heard it right here on our class called We Know What's in the Documents. So, ladies and gentlemen, when Trump declassified these documents, we know that legally they are declassified. Now, the only reason they could raid Mar-a-Lago was for classified documents. So this raid was not law and order. This raid was an attack on law and order. Now, the difference, let me explain to you what the difference is in the FBI and the local police that we all support. The thin blue line. We stand behind it, Mike Pence. Here's why your argument will not work, sir. The difference between the FBI, they are a federal policing power that was radicalized by Barack Obama. Now, to understand that, you got to go way back and watch my classes where I expose Barack Obama and how he took the FBI, radicalized it, weaponized it, and turned it into a federal national police force. Now, the problem with this national police force, unlike your local sheriff's office, unlike your local police department, this federal police force does not answer to any elected official. The deputy in your town is deputized by a sheriff that the people elected and that the sheriff is accountable to. Your local police officer reports to the police chief, who reports to the mayor, who is voted on by the people. But this national police power is not voted on by the people. They have no accountability to we the people. This is not law enforcement. This is a national police force that has zero elected representatives in the mix, zero oversight, zero accountability. And if they do happen to get called to accountability before the House, that's a joke, because here's how they answer the House. I'm sorry, I can't comment. That is an ongoing investigation. What kind of muhaki malaki accountability is that? The FBI has turned into a nationalized police force. And then when they get to Mar-a-Lago, what does this national police force do? They tell them, turn the cameras off. They tell the attorney, you can't come in here. Clouds of secrecy. Now, Mike Pence said that they are the same as our local law enforcement deputy that's reporting to the sheriff that we probably all know on a first name basis. You can walk into your sheriff's office, meet with your sheriff, give him your complaint. He's accountable to you. That's the difference, Mike Pence. We are not against law and order. We are against attacks on law and order. And I was thrilled to death to find out somebody that agreed with me. Listen.
Despite superficial appearances, the raid on Mar-a-Lago was not an act of law enforcement. It was the opposite of that. It was an attack on the rule of law. It was a power grab.
It's a good day when you and Tucker are on the same page. This is important that you understand. The FBI are the very ones that, while real criminals were burning down our cities in Minnesota and all over the United States, destroying businesses, putting graffiti all over the walls, actually breaking the law, that this national police force says, don't touch them. They're just protesting. Now, on January the 6th, that's not a protest. That's an insurrection. But over here, that's a protest. You see, this national police force has zero respect. Zero. And it's of their own doing. And it's not the good men and women that show up every day to do their job. It's the people at the top. This is not law and order. This is a battle against the liberals, from the liberals against Donald Trump. The FBI has gone rogue. They've gone completely rogue, and today they are nervous as a Betsy bug. Why? Because every pundit, every talking head said that this judge would never unseal that affidavit today. That's right. Unheard of. Will not happen. Cannot happen. Well, guess what? The judge said he is going to unseal it with a redacted version, and he's give the DOJ 1 week to suggest their redactions, and then he'll agree or disagree. And Donald Trump came on immediately begging the judge to completely completely redact, or not redact rather, the entire affidavit. Hey, in the world I grew up in, the man that's wanting you to reveal it all compared to the man that don't want you to, I'm going with the one that wants you to open it wide open. They know they went on a fishing expedition, and this is going to come back and bite them in both sides. Huge victory tonight in California. Huge victory in California. A church that was fined $200,000 by Newsom for not shutting down their church. The court has just overturned it, and now that church is suing California. I pray they get multiplied billions of dollars. What a great victory. I told you guys a year ago, everybody was freaking out. I said, hold on. When the temper of the times has died down, we will win in the end. Well, this is the end of the pandemic. We are winning everywhere. Tony Spell in Louisiana has won. This pastor has won. Many more are winning in the courts. So that's great news tonight. Now, not so good news. We just found out today that we are in a housing recession in the United States of America. We have dropped 6 percentage points in July, and that is now our 6th straight month of drops. So that officially puts us in a housing recession. Now, let's talk about real quick this affidavit that that the Justice Department don't want unsealed. Whenever you do an affidavit, especially if you're going to bust open a safe, you have got to put in that affidavit what is in that safe. What you're telling the judge is in that safe. You've got to put it in that affidavit. The only problem is there was nothing in the safe. So I'm sure the judge is going to be wanting to know, now you told me this was in there. Nothing's in there. Very strict rules apply. I'm getting ready to talk to you about Liz Cheney tonight in my monologue. Before I do, real quickly, tomorrow night, Friday night, is our what we call Super Sabbath weekend at our church in Waveland, Mississippi. If you live close and you'd like to be with us, we start tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Then we'll have a Saturday morning Bible study at 11 o'clock. Then we'll have a huge fellowship lunch at 1 o'clock. And then question and answers at 3 o'clock all day Saturday. And then please come if you live close by. We would love to have you with us. If not, we will be live on Zoom. And if you want to join us, you can do that. We would love to have you with us. If you've not registered for Toto's Retreat, the Feast of Tabernacles, October the 5th through the 9th, go to totosretreat.com right now and register free of charge. Yes, free of charge. 5 glorious days. Make sure you register ASAP so that we can look forward to meeting you. Also, real quick, before we take a quick break and then we go to the monologue about Liz Cheney, I've had so many of you email me today about gold and silver. Please, 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 please go. Here's what you have to do. I can't respond to every email. If you will go, that's why we created godsmoney.info, because at that website, you can book an appointment with us and we will call you at the appointed time. So I'm so sorry for those that's waiting to get with us about gold and silver. We're ready to help you, but please just try to go through the process that we have set up, and we look forward to helping you. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to talk about Liz Cheney.
Considered when you spend your money at these mega corporations where it's going? Are you aware that your hard-earned money is being used to support political corruption, which leads to poor federal leadership, hurting our economy, contributing to the overall detriment of our society? This is heavy stuff to think about, I know, but it's time we fought back. Introducing Professor Toto's The Patriot Vine Club. Here, we are a club that gives you the power to invest in companies that uphold patriotic and conservative values your family can respect. Rather than spending your money with these major corporations, we've partnered with a direct consumer company that offers over 400 high-quality, sustainable, and effective products that can be delivered fast directly to your front door. So many patriots across America has joined us in this walkaway movement. Now it's your turn. Go to www.buybuywalmart.com to join Professor Toto's The Patriots Vine Club today.
Not only did Liz Cheney lose big, but she maybe the second worst for a House incumbent in 60 years. She didn't just lose, she lost bigly, like bigly. Since the 1960s. Cheney's loss just links up with 8 of the 10 that voted to impeach Donald Trump. She just joined that little chorus of people that have now become political memories. For the first time in our history, well, in recent history, we don't have a Clinton or a Bush or a Cheney, any of the old dynasties. It's officially over. It ended with Liz. It ended with Liz. It ended. The old order ended with Liz. She was the last of the empire. Tonight, I want to talk to you about Liz Cheney because we saw what she was going to do almost a year and a half ago. We knew she was going to take the ball and run down the middle. And you make a grave mistake if you don't think she has a path forward. She does. Don't deceive yourself. No matter how much you don't like her, the big money of our party does like her. All right? Now, Cheney, whenever she did her non-concession speech the other night, and I'm going to try to get it for you, I want to show you a little piece of that concession speech, non-concession speech. And then I'm going to explain to you exactly what she means by what she says. But when she was doing this concession speech, CNN went to Wyoming. They've already prepared her story before she ever conceded. The moment she conceded, I looked and there was Fruity Lemon, Uncle Don Juan, up there, making her a martyr. But I'm going to teach you tonight that Liz Cheney is no martyr. I'm going to teach you that she is no martyr. As a matter of fact, CNN interviewed a voter there in Wyoming, and his name was Brett Kupek, and they interviewed him, asked him, why he was, who'd he vote for, and he told him it wasn't Liz Cheney. And they said, well, Liz Cheney is trying to stand up for the rule of law. And here's what he said, and I quote, "If that was the rule of law, then why doesn't Trump have a defense team in that courtroom?" He said, that ain't the rule of law. That's a kangaroo court. And that's not the Wyoming way. They wasn't quite expecting that response from a voter there in Wyoming. But the truth is, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing heroic at all about denying political enemies due process. And that is what Liz Cheney has done. I tell you tonight, Liz is no hero. Liz is no martyr, and Liz does not have the principles that she wants you to believe that she has. She said in her speech that that was a path that I could not take. No, you chose another path, and I'm going to prove tonight why you chose this other path. It wasn't because of your principles, darling. It was because of your pocketbook. See, whenever you're having a trial against your opponent, which Donald Trump is her opponent in the campaign, whenever you're part of a witch hunt and a show trial against Donald Trump, you're not a hero, you're a zero. You're not a hero. You don't even have character to deny this man due process. Now watch what she said.
I have said since January 6th that I will do whatever it takes to ensure Donald Trump is never again anywhere near the Oval Office. And I mean it. 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 And I mean it.
She means it, y'all. Believe me, she means it. That was her entire goal. It was never to find the truth. She could care less about the truth. It was to find her place in the presidential race. She has one hope, one, of getting a foothold in the race. Remove Donald Trump. So how do we do that? We create a witch hunt. We create a show trial, and we force him out of the race so that me and Mike Pence have a chance in the race. This has been her strategy from the beginning, and it continues to be her strategy. And she talks about principle, that it's all about the principle to her. Liz, I want to tell you something tonight. Hatred of Donald Trump is not a principle. Okay? You say you have principle. No, you have hatred of Donald Trump. That is not a principle, ma'am. That is a handicap. That is not a principle. Pure hatred of Donald Trump and then executing that hatred at the expense of the Republic and our party. You're not a hero. You are a zero. The media claims that you're a hero and you're a martyr. You're neither of the two. You're an opportunist and you are a spoiled brat of the Washington, D.C. dynasty, the swamp. You're not a hero. You're a brat. Cheney has always used Wyoming. She cares nothing about Wyoming. She used Wyoming and the Republican Party for her personal ambitions. She's always pushed toxic foreign policy. She tried to force herself in 2014 on the citizens of Wyoming whenever she decided to run for the Senate against an actual resident of Wyoming by the name of Mike Enzi. She ran against Mike Enzi, and in her Facebook post where she announced her run, she tagged it from McLean, Virginia. Now, Cheney lives in Virginia. Virginia is her home because that area of McLean, Virginia is the swamp. It's populated by bureaucrats, defense contractors, and lobbyists. That is who Liz Cheney is. As a matter of fact, the blue jeans that she wore in that conference or that media press conference, the jeans she wore to make it look like she's a Wyomingite, actually probably stained her hands when she was putting them on, the blue from it, because they're so new, because she don't wear jeans. But she had to withdraw from that race in disgrace. Go study it. Go research it. She had to withdraw in disgrace from that race in Wyoming. And then later, she was elected to the House, not the Senate, in 2016 after Cynthia Lummons resigned. She rarely ever goes home to Wyoming. She's notorious for canceling her events and simply not showing up to them. Cheney is not a hero. She is not a martyr. She is a privileged child of the establishment DC, so reliant on her family name that her last ad she ran in her campaign, she pulled her daddy, Uncle Dick, out of the closet and used the dynasty that she was born into as a last-ditch effort to make a difference. But now the media has turned her into Joan of Arc. Oh, yeah. She's a star of the January 6th committee hearings, and she has vowed to do everything she can to stop Donald Trump. Now, a New York Times post described Liz Cheney as a martyr and said she is preparing for her new crusade. Left-wing donors, let's talk about her new crusade. Left-wing donors have come out in droves to fill her campaign coffers. Let's talk about her coffers. Since she's such a martyr, she gave up so much. She divested her entire career to stand on her principles. Liar, you have no principles. The hate of Donald Trump is not a principle. The seething vitriol of a vindictive woman is not principle. She received $950,000 in contributions for her campaign from Texas money alone. The big wigs in Texas sent her $950,000. She's raised triple the amount of her opponent. In the tens of millions of dollars, she raised 3 times as much money as her opponent. I want you to think about that. Millions of dollars. How does someone that raises 3 times the amount of money lose by over 30 points? And guess what? She would have lost by 40 points if it were not for the Democrats that crossed over to vote for her in their open primary. Do you realize that she would have lost by 40 points without the Democrats? And yet nobody on the mainstream media is asking the question, how does that happen? How do you spend 3 times the money and lose by 40%? After her defeat, she is now being groomed for the presidency. Cheney has a small but very influential bloc of anti-Trump Republicans, and here's what they have decided. And now this, I'm reading a direct quote from the New York Post, and it almost is verbatim what I told you a year ago. They said she has a block of Republicans that have decided that there must be a 2024 candidate who will run as an unabashed opponent of both Donald Trump and any other election deniers. I told you a year ago, they've got to have her stand up against Trump. They put her up to this with the January. She was set up for this moment, but she wants you to believe she gave up so much to stand on principle. I hate lies, and that is a lie. You are not principled. This, don't you see? They put her on this committee grooming her so the whole world would see she's not afraid of Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, she tells you with her eyes, she is not afraid of Donald Trump. Just look, just look.
I have said since January 6th that I will do whatever it takes to ensure Donald Trump is never again anywhere near the Oval Office. And I mean it. 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 And I mean it.
But she's standing on principle. Let me show you what kind of principle she's standing on, okay? First of all, she's already been offered a multi-million-dollar book deal, all right? She's soon going to start a Trump apology tour. Did you hear me? Do you know how much money she's going to make with that? But she's given up so much. Oh, she just reached down in that reservoir of principle and decided to defend the great Constitution, just like Abraham Lincoln in the great task. What a wonder she is. Now, after that, she'll hobnob with all the never Trump elitist, in Georgetown. Oh, yeah, she'll go to all their cocktail parties, and she's going to profit big time for all that she gave up. I gave it all up. I gave it up that I might serve the people. Yeah, she's already worth $15 million. How many of you want to make a bet that by the time the next election rolls around, that $15 million probably going to be $150 million? She gave up so much. You're a liar. You're not a martyr. You're not principled. You're a liar. You're a spoiled, rotten brat of the D.C. establishment. She didn't sacrifice anything by going after Trump and losing her seat. With media contracts, book deals, she'll probably be a host on The View before it's over with. She's going to get positions in the military-industrial complex. She'll constantly be met with thunderous applause at all the D.C. establishment get-togethers, building her ego. She didn't give up anything. She's no martyr. She's just like the Congressman Mewe, the one that said when he voted against Donald Trump, he was proud to have remained true to his principles. Let me tell all of you something tonight. I want to tell you who Liz Cheney is. And I want you to hear me and hear me well. Anytime that Yahweh puts his hand on a man and anoints a man with a Messiah anointing, oh, by the way, did y'all see they had me on Newsweek and Right Wing Watch because I said Donald Trump was the Messiah? I can't help people's ignorance, and I will not limit my vocabulary to appease their ignorance. I know what the word Messiah means. It means anointed, okay? Someone that is anointed. So if the Father anoints a man for a service, he has made that man a Messiah. Now, Jesus Christ is the Messiah of all humanity, mankind. There's no one else that is the Messiah of Israel, okay? However, there was times in the Bible where Joseph was considered a Messiah. He saved Israel. Moses was considered a Messiah. He delivered Israel. So whenever God anoints a man and raises him up to be a deliverer, a restorer, a revivalist, to give him a special anointing for a special work. That, my friend, is what happened to Elijah. Elijah had a unique anointing, and he had a backbone of steel. Elijah was afraid of no one. His jaw was set. When you looked at him, you knew you can't bring him down. He's anointed by God, appointed for this moment. in Israel's history. However, any time that happens, the enemy will always raise up Jezebel. Now, that word Jezebel gets thrown around a whole lot, and most people are clueless as to what the Jezebel spirit is there for. The Jezebel spirit, which is who Liz Cheney is in the hand of Satan, she has been raised up to be the nemesis of God's man, Donald Trump. She has been raised up not to destroy him because she cannot. I want to tell you the saddest story, and you are going to know how to pray for our president after tonight. The saddest part of the Jezebel story is this. She was able to bring fear into the heart of Elijah. This man that had just stood up to all the false prophets of Baal. This man that had a backbone of steel. Jezebel had no power, really. She was the king's wife, but, all she could do was send threats to Elijah. And she kept saying, tell Elijah, I'm going to get him. You tell Elijah, by this time tomorrow, I'm going to get him. Because the spirit of Jezebel knows she cannot destroy you, but she is equipped by Satan to make you destroy yourself by giving in to the fear that she's sending your way. The only person that can bring Donald Trump down is Donald Trump himself. And Liz Cheney, with that speech she made, was sending fear to Donald Trump. That's all she wants to do, is send him fear. Now, many of you say, well, that's not going to work. Donald Trump is not afraid of her. I want to tell all of you something. Every man on earth is susceptible to the spirit of Jezebel. She sends a fear your way, hoping that that fear will find a lodging place inside your ears. Now, the sad part of the story, Elijah was on the brink of bringing worldwide or nationwide revival to Israel. Did you know that? Because all the prophets of Baal said, if your God answers by fire, we will all serve him. That's a nationwide revival that was getting ready to happen. Elijah was on the precipice of restoring Israel. He was on the precipice of making Israel great again. He was on the precipice of going back and making Israel first, restoring her connection to her God. He was on the precipice of this. But the next day, he allowed the voice of Jezebel to put so much fear in his heart that he gave up the fight. Did you know that? The greatest prophet that ever lived was susceptible to the spirit of Jezebel. Do you know what he did the next day? He ran 16 miles through the wilderness to get away from Jezebel. And that next day, his ministry was over. God replaced him with Elisha. Now, those Old Testament examples are given to us so that we don't make the same mistakes. They're given to us that we might learn from them and not make those same mistakes. As the body of Messiah, every one of you watching me, this spirit of Jezebel is powerful. And it has been raised up against, the spirit of Jezebel hates a man that's fearless. She hates a man that walks in authority and is afraid of nothing, especially her. And the more he resists her, the more she will attack and try to send fear his way. But I want you to hear me. Our job tonight, as Toto's army, as the Lord's army, is to pray for our president that the spirit of fear will find no lodging place in his heart. I know it won't, but still the Bible said, pray thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. We pray for the president tonight to protect him from the spirit of fear. Listen, I love the man, but he's not God. He is a human. And he needs our prayers against this woman that Satan has raised up to destroy the man of God for this hour. We are on the verge of making America great again. We're on the verge of restoring what's been stolen. The man of the hour is Donald Trump. That is who Yahweh has raised up. And your job is to go into strategic prayer. Father, I pray tonight for President Donald Trump, the legitimate president of the United States of America. Protect his mind, protect his ears, protect his eyes from this Jezebel woman. Protect him from the spirit of fear that she is projecting towards this man. Satan always uses a Jezebel to stop the next move of God. We're not going to let it happen. It's not going to happen. And Liz Cheney, ma'am, your game is exposed. You are not what you think you are. You are an out of control woman that stood up against the man of God for this hour. And you listen to me, the rest of that story tells us what happened to Jezebel. All of her plots came to nothing. As a matter of fact, it was her destruction. Listen to me. God is calling us tonight to pray against the spirit of Jezebel. It comes up in a church. It comes up in politics. It simply wants to make you, they know they cannot destroy you. How do they know it? The touch of God is on your life. No one can deny it. The blessings of Yahweh. Remember the prophetic seal that Kim Clement talked about. It's on your life. No one can touch you. No one can destroy the anointed man of God when God's hand is upon his life, except for him. Liz Cheney knows she cannot stop Donald Trump from running. They know legally he can run no matter what they do. It is their evil plot to put so much fear in his heart that he himself will decide not to run. I cancel the assignment of the enemy tonight. I've exposed you, Jezebel. I've exposed this spirit of fear, and you are now exposed, and the people of Yahweh pray against you. You will not succeed. Now, I've never claimed to be a prophet, and I'm not like a lot of these prophets on YouTube and different things that call themselves that. I'm nothing but a Mississippi preacher. But I know when I've been told by God what the spirit is that's in Liz Cheney. Satan has raised her up to be the harbinger of fear and to be the woman that tries to destroy Donald Trump. But I'm going to end it with this. It didn't work with Hillary Clinton. And Les, it ain't going to work with you. I love you all. Thank you for joining me tonight. Now go rest knowing that God is in control and that all is well. We love you. Good night. May God bless you, and may God bless these United States of America.